Okay, good afternoon. Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Collins. I work for Platypus Digital, and welcome to today's webinar on getting the most out of your Google grant. This is going to be a brief overview of the Google AdWords platform, how you can get the most out of it as a charity, how you can structure your account, and we'll be doing a few questions at the end. So at Platypus Digital, we deliver training in things like Google AdWords, Google Analytics, things like that. And oops, sorry about that. And we deliver fundraising campaigns for charities. They bring us in for things like campaigns, awareness raising, PPC campaigns, lots of things like that. And one of the things we're super passionate about is the Google Grants platform, because it gives you so much potential to reach more people online, to really raise awareness for the causes that your campaigns that matter the most. And it's got huge potential. So this is going to be a quick overview. Sorry about the background noise there. Hopefully it won't last too long. So this is just a quick overview. There's obviously a huge amount more to be learned about the platform than we can cover in half an hour, but we'll try and get through whatever we can. As I say, there'll be questions at the end. So if you're watching on YouTube, there should be a little link on the bottom left-hand corner where you can ask a question at any time during the webinar. If you have a Google account, if you don't, then you can simply tweet questions at Platypus Digi is our Twitter handle. So if you tweet any questions there, then we'll get around to them from about 1:20. And you can also live tweet the entire thing if you're interested, using the hashtag #PDAdwords. Although when you see it written down like that, doesn't it look a bit like PDAdwords, which is maybe some sort of AdWords campaign about being a dad? That'll be a separate webinar, I think, something like that. So it'll be a quick overview. Hopefully you'll find it useful, and yeah, we'll have time for questions a little bit later. So what is Google Grants? Google Grants, put simply, is a $10,000 monthly AdWords account credit program, and a great way to bring people to your website. So whenever you Google something, in this case, on the screen, we've done an example by Googling sofa. You get presented with all of the Google results as normal in the middle of the screen there. You also get some shopping results on the top right corner there, but also at the very top, and also in a column on the right-hand side at the bottom of the screen, you get ads in there as well. So these are advertisers who have paid to have their results appear at the top of the search results, kind of just getting to the sort of cheating their way to the top, if you like, but paying for the privilege. What the Google Grants program does is give you sort of $10,000 every month of monopoly money, if you like, to pay to appear at the top of search results for anything to do with your cause, anything that's hosted on your websites, whether that's advice pages, fundraising campaigns, anything that you host on your websites, you can appear at the top of the search results for that term. Those terms are known as keywords, and we'll come to them in a moment. So $10,000 every month, obviously, is a pretty big amount of money to pay for a number of clicks. Depending on what you're advertising, it can bring in quite a number of clicks, and it's a great way of generating huge amounts of traffic to your website, bringing in new supporters, even gaining donors for your particular cause. It can be tricky to use the $10,000 monthly credit just because of a few restrictions that Google place on the grant. So here's a few of the limits that Google have put in place for charities who use the monthly grant. So there's a daily budget of $329 US dollars, which is equivalent to about $10,000, or in UK money, about £6,700 a month. Accurate as of March 2015. So some of the limits that you'll have placed on your accounts that paying advertisers don't have is a maximum cost per click limit of $2 US. So the way they structure their model is that you pay for every click that someone makes on one of your ads. Your ad might show up 100 times at the top of a screen. You wouldn't pay for any of those ads appearing. That's called impressions. You would only pay when someone actually clicks on the ad, and that's the cost per click. So the more valuable the keyword, that's out there, the more that click is going to cost. For example, if you were advertising insurance, you'd find that your cost per click is something in the region of £50. It's something absolutely massive. But that's because if you are an insurance company and you acquire someone who is buying insurance from you, the value of that person to you over their lifetime is going to be way more than £50. If you're advertising something really sort of specific and relatively cheap, like sports or really cheap cutlery or something like that, then your cost per click is going to be lower simply because there's less demand for something like that. And the cost of the sort of lifetime value of that person is going to be much lower. You can only run keyword targeted campaigns if you are a non-profit. And that means that you can only target people based on the terms that they search. Google has another advertising platform as part of AdWords called the Display Network, which is a way of advertising graphics-based ads. So that's images that you find on third-party websites, also known as banner ads. And you can target those people by demographics, by age, by interest. Within the Google Grants platform, though, you can only target people by what they're searching. So that's keyword targeted campaigns. Your ads would only appear on Google search result pages. There are other places that Google place their ads on third-party websites. That's both text ads and graphics ads. But non-profits would only have their results appear on the search pages themselves. You can also only run text ads. You can't run graphics-based ads. It would only be ads that include text on them. And one of the restrictions that they don't shout too much about is that your ads, your charities ads, would appear below those of paying customers. So those people who paid for their AdWords accounts and are paying real money for their clicks, if they're competing against you on particular keywords that cost under $2, but they're paying real money and you're using part of your $10,000 monthly Google grants, then your ads are going to appear below theirs. That was something that was introduced when they increased the keyword limit from $1 to $2, which was a really good thing for charities. It allowed them to use to target more keywords, more valuable keywords, but they included a restriction with that in that they would appear, their ads would appear below paying customers rather than alongside. So kind of giving with the left hand and taking with the right hand, as it were. So and that was one of the limits. But you can't get everything for free, can you? So if you have to leave the webinar at any point, leave it after this slide, because if you understand how the Google AdWords platform is structured, then you're going to get 90% of the benefit from a webinar like this. At the very top, you've got your account. So that would just be the name of your charity and your AdWords platform. Your account is divided into separate campaigns. That's just campaigns in the traditional sense, but also in the more general sense. They could be anything from the services that you offer as a charity, campaigns asking people to donate money to your charity or nonprofit, whatever they happen to be. We'll come to some examples in a moment. A way of then dividing those campaigns further into separate subsections is dividing them into ad groups. And now ad groups are simply further subdivisions of your campaigns, and each ad group consists of a series of ads and a number of keywords that trigger those ads. So the text ads are what we described previously. We'll come to what they look like in a moment. And the keywords are simply the search terms that people enter into Google in order to trigger your ad. Now, keywords is a slightly misleading term because a keyword can be more than one word. So a keyword could be sports. It could also be sports in London. It could be sports camping equipment shop. So a keyword can be more than one word. So a sort of key phrase, if you like, would be a more kind of accurate term. So your account is structured into campaigns. Those are divided into ad groups, which are simply groups of ads and the keywords that trigger those ads. So here's an example. If you were running a furniture store, for example, your account would simply be the name of the furniture store. You might then divide your account into sub-campaigns based on what you actually sell. In this example, if you're a furniture store, then you probably sell tables. You also sell beds, and you would have separate campaigns for each of the categories of product that you have. If within the tables campaign, you might want to divide that even further into different types of tables. So you'll have one ad group for coffee tables, one ad group for bed, Within the beds campaign, you're going to be selling a number of different types of bed. So you might then want to divide your beds campaign into separate ad groups for sofa beds, for king size beds, all the other types of beds. The reason that you might want to do this is simply to be able to report in a much more accurate way. If you're the furniture store, you want to be able to see at a glance whether coffee tables is performing better than bedside tables, so that you can dive into the keywords to see why that is, to see what you can do to improve other ad groups. You want to see if sofa beds are outselling king size beds in a particular month. Maybe try to see why that might be, how you can take advantage of that with different keywords, different targeting, things like that. So that would just be a good way to structure your account. Very easy way to get good reporting metrics out of it. And it's simply going to be something that makes your life much easier as time goes on. So as a charity, you probably can't see this very well. You might want to structure your account thusly. So this is a screen grab from the Oxfam sitemap. If you have a website at the moment that has a sitemap, then this can be a really easy way to decide what campaigns to set up within the AdWords platform. They have a few different sections, the sort of top sections of their website, including what we do, about us, get involved, volunteer with us, and donate. So they might want to go through those top level site sections and create a campaign based on each one. So a campaign, volunteer with us, campaign called donate. And then underneath each of those sections, they might want to create ad groups that further subdivide volunteer with us into the different volunteering roles. So finding a volunteer opportunity, maybe reading some case studies from different volunteers. Under donations, they might have a separate ad group for one-off donations, another ad group for regular donations, donating to very specific campaigns, things like that. So this would be a really good way to start your Google Grant structuring. Have a look at your website, see how you've divided your services, your campaigns, and the things you're trying to get people to do on your website, and try and mirror those in the AdWords account itself. Quick overview of writing good ads, because writing good ads is pretty much the secret, complete secret for success in AdWords, because when people see well-written ads with good calls to action, they're much more likely to click them, come to your website, and take the action that you want them to take. So good ad is going to explain to users what they'll find when they click. Try not to be too vague, don't get too advertising and write things that are sound really enticing, but don't actually explain what the user is going to find when they click. There's going to have to be something quite literal there in order to get people to actually, click on and spend their time on your website. Highlight what makes. There's an example here on the right-hand side, which is an Oxfam AdWords ad or paid platform, not too sure, that says Oxfam strength to survive, oxfam.org.uk, and their text says, every £1 you donate doubled by the UK government. So that's a real, unique selling point that Oxfam have there. There's going to be lots of other charities who can't claim that they're going to have their donations doubled by the UK government, but Oxfam can make that claim, so they make sure they include it in their ad copy to stand out from the other organisations who are appearing for the donate keyword. It really helps if you include keywords in the ad copy itself. In this example, I search for donate, and you can see the word donate appears in bold. That means that ad is going to stand out that little bit more to the user, and it's going to be something they're much more likely to click on simply because their eye is drawn to it. So if you can include the keywords that you have within that ad group, within the ad copy, then that's going to be something that results in more clicks on your ad. And also include a call to action if you possibly can. So tell the user what you want them to do after they read your ad. So it'll be a phrase like find out more, download now, donate today, something like that, sort of a call to action that says this is what we want you to do, this is how you can help this cause, just a simple action taking phrase like this. In the Oxfam example, they've written help save lives. I mean, that's a really kind of inspiring choice of language. It's something that people are going to read and go, wow, that's a cause I can really get behind. And so they've phrased it in that really inspiring way. Any way they can phrase it that's going to help people want to take action and make it really clear to people what you want them to do. So how to find keywords that are going to actually trigger those ads? Well, first of all, start by thinking of maybe 10 to 20 of your own keywords. Try to just think of the kind of phrases that people might search for when they're online, looking for services like yours, looking for information like yours. Then use Google suggestions. They have a number of algorithms that will look at the keywords you've put in, look at your ad copy, look at your landing page copy, and then come up with a few more suggestions. Try to use specific 2 to 3 word keywords, and lots of them across lots of different ad groups. I'll show you an example in a moment of keywords that are 1 word long, 2 words long, and 3 words long. The more words you can include in your keywords, then the more specific that search term actually is. They tend to be the keywords that cost less than $2, i.e. the ones that you can actually use. And if you have lots and lots of them across lots of different ad groups, then you're going to be more likely to use that high daily limit of $329 a day, $10,000 a month, if you take that kind of long tail specific approach. But bear in mind that sometimes that $2 limit is going to scupper you. If you're running a particular campaign, or you have a particular paid service, for example, that your charity runs, then there are going to be times when you want to bid on a keyword, even if it's a really specific one that costs more than $2. That's going to be just something you have to accept, basically. You know, what can you do? This is the $2 keyword limit. You can open up a paid campaign, a paid account, obviously, and then run a paid campaign where you do bid real money for that keyword. And that's obviously something that's fine to do. When you apply for the Grants Pro program, which is a program that Google run whereby you can get $40,000 a month to play with within the Google Grants platform, then having 2 AdWords accounts is something they can't frown on. It's not something they really like you to do very much. But it is obviously something that you can do in the meantime, because it does take quite a while to get to that $10,000 limit. Okay, we'll answer questions in a few minutes, in sort of 4 or 5 minutes or so. So if you want to ask a question, just click the link on the bottom left of the YouTube video, or you can tweet us at platypusdigi, and we'll answer your questions in 5 minutes or so. So let's have a look at an example of a live AdWords account. Ignore those big red messages. That's just saying that my campaigns are paused. So as an organization, we ran some analytics training last year, some Google Analytics training, and we ran a very short campaign to attract people to the training, people who are looking for Google Analytics training. So I've included a few different types of keywords, and I'll just zoom in so you can see these a little bit better. So the keywords that I've tried to include to trigger the adverts here, they include Google Analytics, analytics training, digital marketing online courses, London analytics training, and lots of others. So these are the keywords that I have included for the ads. So they're the things I wanted to rank for. So what I've also included is some single word keywords. Now, if someone is Googling something like analytics, they may be looking for Google Analytics training. Equally, they might just want to log into their analytics account. They might be looking for different types of social media analytics programs, which is not really what we were advertising at all. So it's all about the intent of the user. Try to think about what the person who is searching for that term is trying to do, what they're trying to find out, and how likely it is it matches up with what you have to offer as an organization. Training is there as well. That's again included as a really low quality keyword, because the training can be in absolutely anything. It's much less likely to be our training. If I scroll back up to the top, training on Google Analytics, well, that was exactly what we were offering. So we were more interested in the people who clicked on that keyword than any other. Analytics training course, that's quite specific. Again, I think it could be more specific. London analytics training, it was run in London. I mean, this is going to be much more specific. So the more of those specific keywords you can come up with, the better. You can arrange the results of your campaign by any of these columns. I won't go into what they all mean. But if you see here, we've got clicks, impressions, which is the number of times your advert was shown, and click-through rate. Given that it's monopoly money you're playing with, this is not really $10,000 in real money. You might just want to arrange your keywords by clicks to see which one got the most clicks, because that's the one that's sending most traffic to your website and hopefully getting you more supporters. In this case, it was Google Analytics, followed distant second by analytics training, and then everything else got 0 clicks. So you can see that Google Analytics was by far the most popular search term. Hopefully our ad generated a few trainees as well. So the more specific your keywords can be, the more likely you are to have success. just give you a quick insight into how you could look at the terms that people actually search for before they clicked on your ad. This is going to be much more interesting in your account than it is in mine. So if you click on details and then search terms and all, you'll see the exact terms that people search for when they clicked on ads in particular campaigns. So Google Analytics at the top, Analytics is second, Google Analytics all one word, and then various misspellings of Google Analytics. If you're using broad match in your keywords, then it'll pick up those misspellings on the misspellings of variations of your keywords as well. So if your keyword is something like ladies hats, then it's going to show up for buy hats for women because it's a related search term. Now, this is a really, really interesting report if you've got a grants account that's been running for a little while, because it's got the terms that people are actually putting in to find your cause. It can also be a really good way of getting around the fact that Google doesn't tell you the search terms that people put into Google to get onto your website in an organic way, i.e. they clicked on the results that weren't the paid adverts. It gives you really interesting insights into what people need online, what they need from your charity. And it's just a really interesting insight into the kind of mindset that your users are in. It can help generate more traffic by adding new keywords and giving you an insight into new keyword strategy. It can even change the direction of your whole organization and campaigns if you start seeing the kind of terms and the kind of challenges that people have when they come to your website. So that's just a really quick kind of overview. I mean, remember, it's all about kind of making sure your website has nice short copy and clear calls to action on it to make sure that AdWords is a success. To make sure that you're getting quality, not quantity traffic, and making sure that you do check reports like this. The classic example is a guy who was selling nightstands. Included the phrase nightstand as a broad match keyword, so variations on that were allowed. He was finding he had a really high bounce rate of people coming in to his website from these ads, and he came in and had a look at the terms that people were actually searching for to click on his ad, and he found that one night stand was a really popular search term, so people were clicking on his adverts, which included similar words to that, getting to his website and finding that's not quite what they were looking for. So he had to add one night stand as a negative keyword to make sure his ads didn't appear for that. So always worth looking at these reports and making sure you're driving the right quality of visitor as well as the quantity of visitors. All right, so let's see if there are any questions I can answer. I'll just display that for you. So let's just have a quick look. Okay, what is match type? So what is match type? So as we said just now, you can have broad match, phrase match, and exact match. There are different results depending on which one you choose for the keywords that you have selected. So the good example there is nightstand. If you have a broad match for nightstand, you will appear for probably one nightstand, for nighttime lights, for, well, any sort of variation on that, sort of stand, night, misspellings of that term. If you then choose phrase match, that exact phrase and close variations are going to appear there as well. So the phrase is ladies hats, so you'll definitely appear for the phrase ladies hats, but you'll also appear for close variations on it, like buy ladies hats or selling ladies hats, or something that includes the phrase ladies hats, but isn't exactly that term. And if you choose the exact phrase match, then you'll only appear for exactly that phrase and no variations on it. Really depends how you want to set your account up. I would always recommend starting with broad match, because you don't know what people are going to search for, and then maybe expanding out from there. If there are really common misspellings or misunderstandings of your cause, then you might want to add those misspellings or those kind of misunderstandings terms as negative keywords. So you're not going to show up for those search terms. You're not going to bring that low quality traffic to your website. So always start with broad match. It might be something that you're going to find a lot out about the intention of the people who are coming to see your ads. Phrase match is absolutely fine if you're including lots of them, but you never know what you never know who's going to search for variations on your keyword. Always let user insight guide you once you've added something as a broad match term, and then you'll hopefully find a better strategy from there. Okay, not seeing lots of other questions at the moment, so I will pop back into the interface and see if there's something else we can show you. The dimensions tab is always quite interesting. So when you're in dimensions, then you tend to find a slightly deeper level of reporting beyond what you might find elsewhere. So what this has done is broken down the clicks that I've received on my ads by day. So you can see that I got loads of clicks on my ads, well, comparatively loads anyway, on Sunday the 7th of September. And then underneath that, far fewer clicks on Monday the 8th of September, which was my birthday. So maybe that was the reason there was no clicks there. It was all massive happy birthday wishes. So you can see what days of the week are most popular for your users. I mean, this can be quite an insight, because the click-through rate is much higher on a Sunday. So was it that people were searching for training courses on Sunday? It can be quite difficult to sort of predict what the reason for it is. But if you're advertising a service, for example, as one of our clients is, that's only open between 9 and 5, then it can be a good idea to limit your ads so that they're only showing for that service between the hours that it's actually open. So it can be good to see when your ads being displayed, when they're being clicked, that kind of thing. It can also be really good to have a look at the geographic locations of people who are clicking your ads. This is really good whenever you have a high volume of people who are clicking on the ads that you're putting out. It could be simply because you can see where the demand for your services actually is in the country. You might want to open up new services in new boroughs, in new parts of England. So I've just advertised these within London, so I can see that quite a few of them are unspecified. Lambeth is obviously big, Kensington and Chelsea obviously pretty big, then just general London and City of London. And then I even breaks it down by postcode within London, so you can see really specifically where people are searching for your service. Again, this is something you want to be taking action on, if nothing else. Okay, let's see if there's any more questions. Okay, so this one is, I've inherited the account and it's full of some good stuff and some bad. Is it better to delete everything and start from scratch, or try to make the most of the good stuff that's there? Well, either approach is good. Honestly, if I were you, I would start from scratch and make the most of just having a really planned approach, because you see the approach with websites where they started 10 years ago, and people are just piling content upon content upon content without any thought for the user. I always think it's better to just nuke everything and start from scratch. But I mean, if there's some good things in there, then try and make the most of them as much as possible. But there's not going to be that much that you can't replace yourself, I would say, along with the Google algorithm on how to do it, unless there's some good ads in there, in which case definitely keep those. Okay, so this question is, click-through rate is low in my campaign. What can I do to improve this? Well, there's a couple of things you can do. First of all, look at the best performing ads, the ones that have the highest click-through rate. Try to analyze them by theme, and try to see if you can work out why those ads are successful compared to the other ads in the campaign, and then try and replicate those. So is it that you're using really inspiring emotive language? Do you think it's the inclusion of keywords in the ads that you have? And try to create also as many variations of your ads so include the keywords you've included in your ad group, because, as I say, those are going to appear in bold. They're going to be much more attractive to the user. Bear in mind, of course, that it is monopoly money. So in a way, it's clicks and quality clicks that you're interested in, rather than having a high click-through rate. Make sure you're appearing for relevant keywords, and if you've got a load of keywords in there that have lots of impressions but no clicks, then pause those keywords, and that's automatically going to bring up the click-through rate. And the same for the low performing ads in your campaign. If no one's clicking on them, if they're being shown a lot but no one's clicking, they're just not not performing, pause those ads and create new ones from there. Okay, the last question then. I'm happy to answer any more questions over on Twitter at platypusdigi. The last question is, how do you divide up the $10,000 budget between all the campaigns? This is where I get confused. This is Andrew on Twitter. Now, theoretically, you need to divide up the budget between the campaigns so that all of the campaigns budgets added up doesn't come to any more than $329 because they set it as a daily budget. Now, in reality, Google allows you to go over your daily budget. So I would just start with, and again, remember, this is monopoly money. You're never going to be charged real cash if you've set up the billing correctly. Just set every campaign up as $50, $100, something like that. And if it goes to a little bit over 300, well, that's absolutely fine. At 329, it doesn't really make any difference because spending over your limit every month is one of the conditions that Google asks for if you're to apply for the higher grant of $40,000 a month. So, feel free to divide up as many as you like, go over the limit. But theoretically, all of the campaigns budgets added together should come to $329. But to be honest, you can quite safely have every campaign's limit as $100 a day. It's going to be quite a while before you get to the point where you're spending that amount, or more than that. So yeah, just feel free to chuck $100 at it and see what happens. Okay, that's just about it for today's webinar. As I say, we're over at Platypus Digi. If you've got any more questions, please feel free to drop me an email if you want to ask any questions beyond today. I'm at matt@platypusdigital.com. We run these webinars once a month on different topics for charities and nonprofits. So look out for the next one in a month or so. And yeah, if you've enjoyed today, please feel free to tweet us and tell us if you've got any more questions or feedback. Always happy to answer questions on AdWords. It's something we're really interested in. We're massive geeks. Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.